the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. On the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. On the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to TD Fans Talk, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. Y'all punch that like button on your way in the building. Let your friends and family members know about the channel as well. The true state of the Miami Dolphins is here, and our future in a crystal ball. We're going to break that down and more right here on TD Fans Talk, all right? But before we do, please know that this stream is being powered by BetUS. Take advantage of a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000 using code YouTube150. All right. If you're looking for a new sports book, take advantage of that opportunity. And if you are gambling, make sure you do it responsibly. If you have any type of addiction or problem with that, there are resources on the site that can help you out as well. The odds are out. It is still the same, ladies and gentlemen. Miami Dolphins +1. That is a positive sign, knowing that the home team typically gets the unspoken three-point rule. Okay, so to have the Miami Dolphins +1, there is a lot of optimism in this game versus the Rams with even money on the money line of Miami potentially winning. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to get in on that, take advantage of it. And remember, BetUS is not just a sports book. It is also the casino, race book, and BetUS TV as well. So take advantage of it. Get in on the game. Supporting our sponsors is supporting the channel. Let's go right ahead and dive right in, ladies and gentlemen. We want to get to it because we have an agenda on the show today, making sure that we give you the best content we possibly can. Let's start out by saying shout out to the Mod Squad and shout out to all the members of the channel. If you want to become a member of TD Fans Talk, make sure you hit that membership button below. It says join. I love for each and every one of you to become a member of the channel to help the channel continue to do bigger and better things long term for the future on a monthly basis. All right. So shout out to all of our members. Thank you all for tuning in. DD, Dolphin for Life in the house, Crypto Dolphin is in the house. Shout out to the Mod Squad, Cap for Life, California. I see you guys rocking with us right now. Thank y'all for tuning in. Evander Cook, I see you as well. All right, let's dive in. The Miami Dolphins, you have to ask yourself the question, where are we? Okay. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to let us know that we're 2-6 right now. Okay. And the reality is it's horrible. Now, we do need to acknowledge something, that this team is way more talented than the roster says it is. But the reality is the reality. But we also have to take some time to acknowledge as fans, how did we become 2-6? And I want to interact with you all in the chat. Can you put in the chat right now, how can the Miami Dolphins start 2-6? What are some of the factors that cause the Miami Dolphins to start 2-6? And when you start making your list of what are the factors, we all know number one on the list is Tua Tagovailoa not getting hurt and not being available for his team. Now, some people, some critics, would argue, well, maybe that's not why we're 2-6, because even with Tua, we're 1-3. A lot of people don't realize that right now. Even with Tua, we are 1-3 with Tua. We are 1-3 with Tua. You want to know what our record is without Tua this year? 1-3. The exact same thing. Now, does the offense look better with Tua? Yes, we can all acknowledge that. But the team overall, with or without Tua, we're 1-3. 1-3. And that's a part of the big problem of it all. And another piece to this is, we had set a bar a long time ago that it's wise for the Miami Dolphins to follow. If you can't beat the Bills on a consistent basis, then what shot do you have anyway? And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? We are 0-2 versus the Buffalo Bills this year with Tua. And on top of it being with Tua, when we were healthy with him, and when we weren't healthy with him. Because don't forget, week 2 versus the Bills, we had a lot more players on this roster healthy. So a lot of these narratives, they don't hold water. And what narratives am I talking about? This team is better than the record, so we should move forward because we still have a chance to make the playoffs. It's not holding much weight. Now, is there a chance to make the playoffs? Absolutely. We are not mathematically eliminated until we literally lose about 9 games. Even 9 wins, it has a slim to none chance, but it is a chance. 10 wins, slim chance, but a much better chance. 11 wins, you're in. So I understand the notion, hey, we got to keep moving forward. This team is better than it is. Let's see if we can win. But the reality is the Miami Dolphins have placed themselves in a position to where the goal now is to go 8-1. Anything under 8-1, you're operating out of a hope and a prayer. You're operating out of a hope and a prayer. If you go 8-1, you'll end the season 10-7, and you should be able to slide in as a 6th or 7th seed wild card. That's 8-1. 9-0 would be beautiful. 11-6. You probably still won't win a division based off of the way things are going now, but that would be beautiful, but highly unlikely. And 7-2, once again, the hopes and the prayers come out for us. So this team has already decided. We don't have to cry over whether we should go after it or not, because they have already decided that they're going to go after it. But that does not mean we don't need to acknowledge the risks of doing such a thing, which we'll break down in just a moment. But let's stick to the same point of the goal of being 8-1. In a perfect world, the Miami Dolphins go 8-1, ladies and gentlemen, which once again is like slim to none. Why is it slim to none? Because we have to play the Jets twice, who are playing good football. They have better depth. They have a good defense. They have a good offense. They have weapons. They have just as much as we do. But the issue of it is we have to go to New York in the last game of the season in freezing cold weather. We have to go on the road to the Packers, elevation in freezing cold weather. We have to go to the Browns, in which we should win that game based off of a talent standpoint, hopefully, right? But in freezing cold weather. And outside of that, you got to deal with the Jets, a division rival, which is tough at home. Good weather, but it is a division rival. The 49ers at home, one of the more superior teams in the league. The Texans on the road with Nico Collins back, which will be pretty tough. And the Rams this weekend on the road, Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, and Cooper Kupp all on the same page. But there are some layups on our schedule, such as the Raiders and the Patriots. At least we hope they're layups, but they are on the schedule. But the task in front of the Miami Dolphins is a difficult one that the team hasn't given up on, and I commend them for that. But yet it is a difficult one. Now, here's the only thing that bothers me about all of this. Let's say in a perfect world, we do go 8-1. We do go 7-2, and whatever happens gets us in the playoffs. Ladies and gentlemen, 9.9 times out of 10, it's going to be as a 6th or 7th seed, highly likely to be the 7th seed. And how much confidence should we have if we're able to pull that off? Because if we're able to pull that off, that would be phenomenal, right? But how much confidence? Because even if we're able to pull that off, it will be against none of the 4 top teams in the AFC. Even if we're able to pull this off, it won't be against any of the top 4 teams in the AFC. Now, and why am I saying that? Because if we pull this off, everyone is going to operate under the assumption, man, oh man, we can compete with anyone, even though we beat none of the teams that are actually the top 4 teams in the AFC. Furthermore, we make the playoffs in the first round. It would either be the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Bills, or the Steelers. The top 4 teams in the AFC. You're going to have to face one of them. Elite competition. On top of it being elite competition, you would have to travel on the road against those 4 elite competitions. And all 4 of those elite teams on January the 12th, which is my birthday, I think it's January 12th or the 11th, because they do have Saturday games too, right? But all of those teams will be in freezing cold weather. We ain't talking about no 48. We might not even be talking about 30. I mean, we're talking about 30 below, 20, 10s, might even feel like negatives. The Kansas City Chiefs, we learned that last year at that time of year. The Baltimore Ravens ain't much difference. the Buffalo Bills, the weather, further north, and the Pittsburgh. Don't get me started with Pittsburgh. There might even be a snowstorm. Y'all remember the last time, that we went to Pittsburgh in the playoffs? I still remember it because Tannehill got hurt. I think our backup took the reins. Glenn said you can get Houston or Colts. It's just not true, Glenn. You know why? Because the Houston Texans or the Colts are going to end up being the 4th seed. Yes, they will win their division, but look at the way things are going, even for Houston, struggling mightily. They are highly likely to be the 4th seed. And Glenn, the Miami Dolphins ain't got no chance of being the 5th seed. Between Baltimore, Pittsburgh, whatever one don't win a division will be the 5th seed, and they will highly likely play the Houston Texans. Think about it. Houston might get in the playoffs with 10 wins to win their division. They'll be the 4th seed. But the Miami Dolphins don't have a path to the 5th seed when you look at what's happened over there in the division with Baltimore and Pittsburgh. And then on top of it, the Bengals still have a shot. Yeah, they lost, but again, they lost to superior competition, even though they blew it themselves to a degree too last night. The Bengals have a better chance of being above us. If the Dolphins get in, it is highly likely to be the 7th seed at this point, having 2 wins. We'd have to be almost perfect all the way through just to snatch that last spot. And Houston nor the Colts will end up being the number 2 seed. I think hopefully we can all agree on that right now. Houston nor the Colts will be the number 2 seed. Chiefs will get number 1. Baltimore or Pittsburgh will be number 2. You're probably going to have to deal with Baltimore or Pittsburgh in the first round. Someone said we're better than the Bengals. Maybe, but they got 2 more wins than us right now in a much better driver's seat than us, which makes it even difficult for us to even make that last wild card spot because they're going to be fighting for it. Now, remember, we're having all of this talk based off of optimism that if we're able to pull off beating the Jets twice, the Packers, the 49ers, Texans, Rams, Raiders, Patriots, Browns, and only losing to one of them. We're having all this conversation with that optimism. So, and I know we're not better than the Bengals, Cyclops, but no need to rebut it or argue it, keep the point going. That's like a side note that'll get us distracted trying to prove the otherwise when it's really irrelevant at this point, whether or not we're better than them. We don't even play them. They're just in the driver's seat. Why name the Jets first? Because we play them twice. Much bigger factor being able to beat them because we got to play them twice. So our outlook, even in the miracle situation, is road game against a cold weather dominant team. Glenn said we should not talk about playoffs until we get back to 500. I get it, Glenn, but I'm making a point here. The point I'm making here is to give you the vision of what this front office is thinking. This is the only thing they can be thinking. Yeah, we shouldn't be talking playoffs, but guess what? They are. They are indirectly. They're not in there saying, hey, man, we got to make they're talking about 1 week at a time, but to not do anything at the trade deadline, whether it be buy or sell, shows you. No, I actually got to break that down because it doesn't show you. To not be selling at the deadline shows you they believe in this roster. To not make any positive trades at the deadline to bring in talent shows you they believe in this roster. But here's where the asterisk is on the why didn't you buy? And their response was, we believe in this roster. Don't halfway lie to us. We know you believe in this roster, but you also don't have any assets to buy. You also don't have any assets to buy. Because if you use the assets that you do have in reserve right now that you want to move over to next year, you know you have an impossible task next year, and you already have an impossible task next year. People don't understand the situation that the Miami Dolphins are in from a salary cap standpoint and a roster standpoint. Chris Grier is trying to hold on to that $20 million that he has right now, and he's trying to move that over to a $200,000 cap space that we have next year, so that in the offseason, as soon as the offseason starts, all right, we got $20 million, but we only got 36 players under contract. So we need 17 players under contract with $20 million. And I can't go out and just get 17 $1 million players and call it a day, because our roster would be boo-boo, garbage, trash. Plus, our draft picks are going to take up roughly, right now estimated at least, $8.5 million. And that's going to be about 8 players. So therefore, I'm only going to have $12 million, and I need 11 more players. And if I go with $1 million players, our roster is going to be straight boo-boo trash. Let me add on to that. It's going to be way worse than it is now. Now, let me add on to that. Get ready, ladies and gentlemen. Bradley Chubb's getting cut. And if they continue with Bradley Chubb, Chris Grier got to scratch his head like, man, where can I save money? Where do I save money on this roster? Where do I save money on this roster? Okay, to a big cap hit. Let's restructure his base salary next year into signing bonus, kick more of it down the road and spread it out. His cap hit for the future years are going to get even bigger. But I need to save this little $20 million right now so I can try to make the roster better. Y'all think Stephen Ross is going to allow him to restructure Tua Tagovailoa's deal to a point to where he locks him in even more down the road from a cap casualty standpoint after getting hurt this year, after experiencing what they were just hoping didn't happen, the one thing they were hoping didn't happen, the one thing that was holding up the deal all this time in the first place? Yeah, but we don't know if you're reliable. Right now, he officially has a stamp, unreliable. He officially has a stamp of unreliable. Now, here's the caveat. I'm sitting here saying, y'all think that they're going to do that, which is stupid. I'm saying that in terms of, no, they ain't going to do that. But yes, they are, because they're the Miami Dolphins. Like, the common sense conversation, you think they going to do that? Psh, get out of here. That ain't happening. That's the common sense conversation. But yeah, they are. Let me tell you why. This is what's interesting to me. When they say we didn't become buyers at the deadline, we looked at under a whole bunch of rocks, but, we're content with our roster. It can only mean two things, and this is the thing that none of us know, and this will determine our future. It can only mean two things. Stephen Ross gave you a directive that said, y'all better make the playoffs this year or y'all fired. Don't make no more moves either. This is your roster. Get it done. Y'all better make the playoffs and do something special this year or you fired. That's one. And I don't know how much I trust that. I don't know how confident I feel that that's the case. And the other case of it is, man, things ain't working out this year, but you know what? Let's just stay forward with this group and then we'll figure it out next year. Which is a disaster, but to me, that's probably what's going on. It should be the other way, but everything that should be, it's like the opposite with Miami. So it's like, We're not going to find out until the end of the season which one it is. Because if they fail, which they're highly likely to, not go 8-1, not make the postseason, if they fail, is Greer getting X'd? Or are we going to figure out a way to make our roster better? We don't know. We just got to wait to the end of the season. And then, because I'm not going to be surprised. Like, we know what needs to happen, but I'm not going to be surprised if they don't keep trying to kick this can down the road. And then if we keep trying to kick this can down the road, it's the most dumb thing that we could have ever done. Because, ladies and gentlemen, if you understand salary cap and you go play with them numbers on the multiple websites, the Miami Dolphins, it's almost impossible to have a better roster moving forward. You got to hope, see, moving forward, you got to let Channing Tindall become the guy. You got to let Cam Smith become the guy. You got to you got to allow Chop Robinson to keep starting. No more Chubb. You got to, because they're going to try to save some money with Chubb. They're going to have to, and then you have to ask yourself, the young running back's going to have to take over. Cam Smith going to have to be the guy. You're going to have some of those guys actually be the main guy. You know how they're standing in right now? You know what I mean? Some of them guys going to have to actually be the main guys. And Patrick Paul might have to step up and actually be one of the main guys. And they're going to try to make it work. And they're going to go get some more draft picks and add it to it. But these are young, raw players with no development. And here's the problem with the Miami Dolphins. They went so top heavy and they extended the top heavy that even if you draft good players to replace your top heavy in the future, the odds of those players you drafted being better than the top heavy you have right now is slim to none. What's your odds of drafting another Tyreek Hill? Yeah, what's your odds of drafting another Waddle? What's your odds of drafting the next left tackle to be as good as Teron Armstead? He may be healthier, more durable, but what's the odds of him being as good? Patrick Paul ain't going to ever be no Teron Armstead. And I don't want to say never to a man, but we having a conversation, the likelihood. What's the odds of any corner over there becoming Xavier Howard or eventually taking over for Ramsey? All of these star players we have, what's the odds of the replacement ever being better than them? And what I'm saying is when they're eventually replaced, you got lesser of talent. Now, furthermore on that, right? We're saying what's the odds of all that happening, right? But we're not even talking about what are you about to do with Javon Holland? Are you about to allow him to become an unrestricted free agent? Because I can't imagine you franchise tagging a safety and it probably at a rate of over $20 million. Because the top three safety is probably somewhere in the 17 to 20 range. Maybe I'm off on that, but it's up there. Are you really going to do that? Or are you about to pay him on a long-term contract, making your salary cap even worse? So if you do let him walk or whatever it may be, who's replacing him? Matter of fact, let's go a step further. Who's replacing Poyer, who ain't good for us anyway, but once again, who's going to eventually replace Fuller? Oh, Cam Smith. We seeing how they're working out. These are the conversations I'm talking about. This is what we've built. Who's going to replace all these banged up veterans? And guess what? Here's the last point I want to make on this, and I'll move on. None of us are talking about the fact that historically, I want you to think about the longevity of players in the NFL. How much longer is Tyreek going to be in his prime? How much longer is Tyreek going to be in his prime? He's already being reduced. We know the talent is still there. He's already telling us, man, at this age, he's feeling the practices. How much longer he going to be in his prime? How much longer is Ramsey going to be in his prime when any given week he getting toasted anyway? One thing I love about Ramsey is his physicality in the box, tackling, being nasty and scrappy. I love that, but that's not act like he don't be out there getting toasted too a lot. But how many more years do we have of these guys operating at a high level? How much longer are we moving on with the Teron Armstead situation? How much longer are we going down that path? See, these are the things that nobody's talking about. So as we move forward with this group, they're getting older and older. And you're going to start to see rust start to show up. And you're going to look up 2 years from now and be like, man, this guy ain't like it was. You're going to, we paid for their retirement. We're paying for their latter years. That's what we're doing. So we're like our future. What I'm trying to paint the picture to many of you all is our future as it stands right now is a constant state of depletion. And we're going to go into each of these years and lie to ourselves and tell us the new roster is the best we've had. We did that this year, and I even let some of y'all convince me into little bit agreeing. I told y'all it wasn't better, and y'all just kept hounding me, and then I was like, well, collectively, maybe. Why? Because I let y'all convince me to think about Poyer in his prime, think about Fuller in his prime, think about Ramsey in his prime, think about Reek, and think about everybody in their prime. And that's when I said, collectively, I can see where it might be barely better. And after 2 weeks, scratch all that crap. Get out here. The roster ain't even close to the year before or the year before that. And when you get to this point as an organization, guess what's next? Guess what's next? Purgatory. What a lot of people won't acknowledge is the fact that we started a rebuild to get out of the slums and go to the suburbs and start living our life. Pina coladas, going at the pools and all. We went from the slums, trying to get to the suburbs and like the Chiefs, like the Ravens every year. They may not be, on the mountains, but they in the suburbs, they like the Bills. They ain't in the mountains with the Chiefs, but they in the suburbs. The Pittsburgh in the suburbs, Bengals on the edge of the suburbs, the Texans on the edge of the suburbs. We've just been trying to get out of the slum with the Panthers, the Jets, all them. We've just been trying to get out of the slum, get up in the suburbs. And guess what we about to do? We literally are about to start that repetitive state of the edge of the suburbs. The red line that they talk about, we in the slums, but our little carve out, we the lucky household that actually get to go to that school and all that. That red line, we're going to go to some suburb schools, but we still in the slums. Like we right on the other side of the bridge. But it's a whole bunch of restaurants and stores around. Like we had one out of three houses right here with a whole bunch of stores and factories and stuff. And then half a mile over, the beautiful suburbs. But the lining got us in it. We up in there. We up in there. That's what we're about to head to. That's that purgatory team winning 8, 9, 10 games every year. And if they luck out to get 10 and get in, they get bounced the first round. Don't forget where you at. You right over there by them train tracks. Don't forget. Don't forget. Don't forget. That's what we're about to become. And here's why we're going to go down that path and go down it further. Something tells me this is what the Miami Dolphins are going to do to screw it all up. Tua already showed us you're a big risk. And what does that tell you? The Miami Dolphins right now, they're supposed to go do what Atlanta Falcons did. I don't care that we got Kirk Cousins, a.k.a. Tua, right? We're going to get us a pick for the future. Tua, hey, this your team, you're going to play, but we got somebody for the future. We can't rely on you. But we could play some of your contract. Let's play these 2 years to make a decision in. Right? But here's the problem. I don't think the Dolphins are going to go get the Michael Penix. I think they're going to go get the Flacco. You see what I'm saying there? I don't think they're going to go get the Michael Penix. I think they about to make the biggest mistake of their life, and they're about to go get the Flacco and say, there ain't no question that we got a great backup now. So if he get hurt, it's okay. Further screwing our future. See, they're going to finally do what they should have did the last 2 years. But now when they shouldn't look at it that way, they're going to start looking at it that way. That's what's about to happen. It's exactly what's about to happen. Doug say give Tua a line. Let's go down your road. Let's go give him the best line in the league. Give me 2 or 3 of them defensive players you got right now. Tell me which 3 you want to cut. Come on. Go down the salary cap. Any of the ones over $5 million, give me 2 or 3 of them, and we got to cut them. Let's do it. See, we can go get the O-line. We have put ourselves in a position from a salary cap standpoint. Yeah, we can go bolster the O-line. We can go get Flacco. We can go get an O-line. But y'all complain about the defense now. Wait till Holland gone. Wait till Javon Holland gone and Jordan Brooks gone and one more and Ogbar because no, just Chubb. Just wait till them 3 gone. So go get your O-line. And let's sit back and continue to say we need to realize, okay, now Tua got to win shootouts. And when we lose, man, you can't get mad at them putting up 30 points. Yeah, but the other team giving up 30, we giving up 35. That ain't his fault. This is the cost. This is the cost. You want a better defense? Trade Tyreek Hill. Move on from Mostert. And move on from the Teron Armstead era. Now we can go get back to the defense we had a few years ago. Just like that. But then when we're like, oh my gosh, this offense keep coming so close. 27-24, we lost. We got to be better. We just need that one more drive that Tyreek give you every week. That one more touchdown or something that Tyreek give you. That one more piece of reliable play that Teron Armstead give you. Like, come on, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all really act like you could just get everything. I had this conversation on Bleacher Report the other day with the NFL insider, with James Palmer. And I was trying to tell him philosophically from a football standpoint, I've been studying this. Every year you're going to have about 6 quarterbacks, right, that are on a rookie deal making the playoffs because of how little they're making and how loaded their roster is. Ain't no 6 quarterbacks. You'd be lucky to get 3. And then I rephrase and say, you're right. What I mean is 6 quarterbacks that's making like rookie money, less than $10 million a year. And he still said, no, not even that. And I want y'all to really think about it. Think about the teams in the league where they're doing good right now, but understand the circumstance, right? Go to the NFC, their quarterback position. Nobody's making over 10 million. Nobody. Who else over in the NFC? The Commanders. Jaden Daniels making peanuts. Who else in the NFC? 49ers? Purdy got to get paid after this year. I'm sure there's more. There's probably one more. I'm just ain't thinking through. Jared Goff getting paid. I'm talking about the ones that's not getting as much money, right? And then you go over to the AFC and you look at the landscape. Pittsburgh Steelers. None of their quarterbacks making real money. Russell Wilson making like $1 million. AFC. Who else we got? Let me see here. CJ Stroud. Thank you. That's another one. I'm talking about teams that look like they're going to make the playoffs. I'm not talking about the Will Levises of the world and all that, right? And I know what you mean by Willis and Green Bay, but Jordan Love making better money now, so I'm not including them. And there's one more in the AFC that I ain't thinking about. Hold on. I'll show you now. Because I know there's six. All right, who's the one more in the NFL right now? You can say the Broncos, Bo Nix, 5 wins, 7th seed right now. I ain't gonna count him. I ain't gonna count Anthony Richardson. They on the path to hoping for a 7th seed, but I ain't even gonna count them in. I already got to 6. So that's 6 quarterbacks right there. And then you add your elite quarterbacks, right? Josh Allen, that makes 7. You go Patrick Mahomes, that makes 8. You go Lamar Jackson, that makes 9. I ain't gonna count the Bengals. Lamar Jackson makes 9. Let me go to the NFC. I'm not gonna say Hurts or him elite. Stafford, if they make it, I'm not gonna count them for now. Goff, that makes 10. Jordan Love, that makes 11. Kirk Cousins, that makes 12. That makes 12 right there. So this is my point to people. Every year you got 6 young quarterbacks that's getting rookie type money, under 10 million, making the playoffs because they got loaded rosters because how much they making. Then you got the best of the best other 6 quarterbacks that get in because they're just that good. And when I say they're just that good, is Kirk Cousins not doing his thing well enough? Is Jordan Love not balling? Is Jared Goff not absolutely tearing it up? Are same thing, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. I mean, these guys are absolutely tearing it up. But every year you got them 6 teams in. So let me show you what teams are fighting over 2 spots every year. You're always at a disadvantage. Let me show you the teams fighting over 2 spots and how many there are. The Eagles, the Cowboys, the Arizona Cardinals, the San Francisco 49ers. And some of these teams are better. Well, don't add San Francisco. We already got them in because of the salary they making, right? The Seattle Seahawks, there go 4. I ain't gonna add the Chicago Bears right now. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and these teams got solid quarterbacks, but I don't see them in that upper echelon, right? The Jets right now, the Chargers, the Bengals, and the Colts. You got, in the Dolphins. I forgot the Dolphins, even though we're not. I mean, we are, but we are. Let's just say we are, right? You got these 10 teams because everybody else is garbage, right? And they turn around because they get the young quarterback and they elevate like Washington did, like Houston did last year. Every year you get one or two of them young quarterbacks with a loaded roster, they're going to elevate and make the playoffs. This is what the league is coming to. But you got 10 middle of the road teams fighting for them 2 spots, man. Fighting for them 2 spots. Because when that money kick in, ladies and gentlemen, as soon as that money kick in, it's tough. Like, people don't understand the notion that the Miami Dolphins are at a disadvantage than the Washington Commanders because the Washington Commanders can afford way more on their regular roster on both sides of the football, be players in the trade deadline, do all of that because their quarterback who's playing phenomenal football is only making peanuts. Is only making peanuts. And here's what a lot of people also don't get, right? And this is the part where, at least I try my best to educate people on this, right? Even this year, Tua is only a $9.5 million cap hit for the Dolphins. He is only a $9.5 million cap hit this year. So when people be like, yeah, but the salary cap goes up, Tua goes to $40 million next year. So whatever raise it is, it ain't even covering him. It ain't gonna raise by $30 million. It might raise by 15 to 20, but it ain't even gonna cover him. So what will they do? He got a base salary of $25 million, right? And what are they able to do? They are able to convert that into bonus, right? So how do you do that? You take that $25 million and you're able to basically spread it out over the years of the contract, which go to pretty much 2028 because he got 2 voidable years already. Why? Because they've already restructured his deal last year. When they gave him the deal, they restructured it. He already got a signing bonus proration. Now you take that $25 million and you break it into the you break it into 4 years. You got $6.5 million that they added on to each year after. So this year he already have a signing bonus of 8.5. So if he's a base salary of $6 million this year plus 8.4, that's 14.5 roughly. 15 because of the roster bonus, the option bonus, another 5, that's 20. Workout bonus, 250,000. They can reduce him down to $20.5 million. So what the Dolphins can do, they can save themselves $19 million onto a contract this year, but this is what it's going to do. It's going to take 2026 all the way up to $63 million cap hit, 2027 to a $60 million cap hit, from 63 to 60, and then 2028 to a $72 million cap hit, and then in 2029 on a voidable year, it'll be $17 million and he ain't even under contract. So you're kicking the can down the road like that? So say you did that. Now here you are in 2026 and Tua Tagovailoa has a cap hit of $63 million, $40 million base. You can't afford the $60 million cap hit. So you're going to try to restructure the 40 now? And now you're going to divide it out with the remaining of the contract of the last 2 years, which is 13, 13, 13. So even if you restructure Tua the year after, he would be 13 plus 8.5, which is 21.5 plus 1, 26.5 plus 8, 34.5 plus $250,000, about $35 million. So you would save another 21 the year after, but then you're talking about $85 million cap hits in 2027. And he'll have dead cap of $32 million. So they'll be looking to cut him anyway. But even if you cut him, And you know that 31.8 dead cap in 2027, it will be greater because of the restructures. Like we're going down a path of just ridiculousness. And the only way to get out of it is if you say, hey, Tua, let's go ahead and give you another extension and screw 2028 through 2031 and just have no possibility. Which they're not going to do. That's like literally nuclear. Like this whole situation is just terrible, all for the sake of trying to make it work around him. And from this point going on forward, ladies and gentlemen, we will be hustling backwards, all to continue to try to make it work around him. But this is where we are. Let me hit some of these super chats, man. Flick said, what's up, TD? Stop lying to these people. I'm sorry. What up, homie? Scant said, we already seen the best version of this team. The offense is stale. Reek and Waddle have regressed. McDaniel is not a head coach. We are beating a dead horse. Reset button starting with the front office. No lies told. Bro, we lost to Colts and Cards. We're getting Ward. You think that? All right. Nah, man, forget that. Why your GM didn't take allegedly late fifth for CC. Y'all not going anywhere. Low key front office hating. Y'all stole weave late. Time will tell, brother. TD, are you, CB, and Doug ever going to do Dolphins Roundtable again? Yeah, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. We like one or the other, or all of us have had a lot going on as of lately. But then on top of it, the energy's been down. It's been really down. And me personally, I told the guys, I'm gonna try to find a sponsor for the show, and once we got a sponsor, we'll keep it going. All right. But we'll figure it out, Glenn. Nightwolf 3186 said, you right, TD. They're gonna get a band-aid for QB instead of a surgical replacement. We started and planned for a trench rebuild according to Greer and Ross, but they eventually panicked and went free agency and draft pick trade crazy. Building through trenches takes time, but worth it. I totally agree, Nightwolf, but that's where we got off track. And now they're trying to defend their decisions. They're literally trying to defend their decisions. We got off track, way too radical, and now we're trying to defend our decisions. That's what's going on right now. Exactly what's happening. But hey, we got to live with it. Because we got a whole portion of the fan base that they don't care about what's going on in the trajectory as long as they can see a specific person playing every week. They good. They're good. Shout out to the homie Greenwood. Slim said, Tua's Miami contract reminds me of Steve Nash Lakers contract. That was the downfall of them too. Shaking my head. Fins up. Anyway. Yeah, man. But here's the crazy part about like Tua's contract, right? And I know a lot of people don't want to hear this. And a lot of people don't want to hear this, but man, if it was me, I'm cutting them. Soon as that next offseason come, I'm cutting them. I'm cutting them. And like literally, I would just eat it and take a post June 1st release. Next year, he'll be a $38 million cap hit, and the year after that, he'll be a $45 million cap hit. We got to eat the salary, but I would. Now, if you got a trade partner, that'll be a whole lot better because he'll only be a $13 million cap hit this year and $45 next year. But I would. He's unreliable, and we're trying to make this work around him and build around him. So, you know what? Let me backtrack that. I wouldn't cut him. I would try my very best to trade him. post June 1st trade. I would try my very best post June 1st trade. Hope that one of these teams looking for a quarterback never got their guy. And then post June 1st, hey, we can make a deal for Tua. He's a nice step in. You know he's talented, but you got to deal with the injury concern. We're still going to be eating, a lot of the salary, about $58.5 million. If we trade him, we got to deal with. But that's it. A lot of people don't know that. You cut Tua next year, you got to deal with $58.5 million of dead cap over the next 2 years. 13 next year and 45 the year after. And you're done. Next year, it would actually give you a lot of flexibility. And here's what people don't understand. I would have tanked out this year. I would have went and got Cam Ward for $11 million a year for the next 4 freaking years because he's a rookie contract, right? Literally 11, 12 million a year. And here's how you would have absorbed it. Tua on the team. See, this is how you absorb it. If you could trade Tua post June 1st, right? First of all, say we keep Tua and we keep playing. He's a $39 million cap hit next year. But if you trade him post June 1st, he's only a $13.4 million cap hit. And Cam Ward would be like a $12 million cap hit. You would have your replacement. And you would only be paying $25 million next year, which means you'd be saving $15 million that you could put on the roster, O-line. Then in 2026, you'll be paying Tua $45, dead cap, but Cam Ward will still only be $12. So that's $57 million at the quarterback position that you're eating, but Tua's $56 million in 2026 anyway. He's $56 million cap hit in 2026 anyway. It's a wash. It's almost like paying your rookie first rounder the same money you're giving to it anyway, without having to give it to him. It's literally a wash. And then you're free from the Tua contract, and your team got buku money for the next 3 years because you got a rookie, still got 2 more years on a rookie deal and a 5th-year option. You got buku cash around them. Buku cash. Tons of cash. After that, 2027, man, you got cash. And guess what? In 2027, you done already drafted players 2 years in a row. And you're about to draft more players for 2027. And you're moving on from Tyreek. You're moving on from Ramsey. If Waddle's still good, we got to determine. Man, you go into 2027 after cutting Tyreek and Ramsey and all of them guys, you probably have $150 million in cap space. With all your other draft picks for them 2 years under contract already. Plus a new draft class about to come in. You have $150 million. You could start this thing right away. All you got to do is find a post June 1st trade partner for Tua. That's it. Or you can go the hard way. Or you could do it the hard way. Which they're not going to do. They can't take a 1-year dead cap. So they ain't going to do that. $83 million just all in 1 year. If they release him when the season over, immediate $84 million cap hit. And they can't clear enough space to absorb that. So it's not happening. Post June 1st release, they can manage. But the real win is a post June 1st trade. Fine. And the team that receives him, they getting a steal. I'm telling you, he's tradable post June 1st next year. The team trading for him, they're getting a steal. If I'm Chris Greer and the man, I would have tanked this season out, got Cam Ward on the roster. People would be scratching their head all off season. They just trade Tua. Nah, we'll trade, and they won't even realize they'll be looking to trade him post June because 5 to 7 teams gonna be calling about him. Why? Because they don't have to deal with his remaining contract. If you look at the numbers for the team that'll receive him, the next 2 years they getting a steal like Russell Wilson. The Steelers paying like $1 million. Look at Russell Wilson right now with the Steelers. They paying like $1 million. Plenty teams would take that contract. Plenty teams. So if you brought in a Cam Ward, and you might even be able to get a second back, maybe even a first. Maybe even more if they really value him and they're not worried about the injuries. They might be able to get a little baby haul for the future to keep building around Cam. Man, the options are there. I'm telling you. Post June 1st trade. If they draft a top quarterback in the first round, somehow, some way, Tua is a post-June 1st trade candidate, ladies and gentlemen. In the Dolphins cap situation, they would be able to manage it very well. But Greer will blow it. Greer will blow it. They would have to sit Tua, A-Chain, and Wright to give this team a chance to get Cam Ward. Well, you know what? I'm going to be honest with you, Glenn. Will they? Will they? Like, I'm going to tell you now, worst case scenario, the Miami Dolphins win 4 games. They could very well, I got us beating the Rams, but they could very well lose to the Rams this week. They're not losing to the Raiders, but you know how the Dolphins is. But they're not going to lose to the Raiders. They're not going to lose to the Patriots. But they could very well lose to Green Bay. They could very well lose to the Jets twice. I don't see it, but I ain't going to rule it out. They're a good team. If you want to compare them to us, they could lose to the Texans. They could lose to the 49ers. Browns in cold weather in their defense, depending on which version of the Browns show up that day. Is it going to be the version that beat Baltimore last week? They could very well beat us at their home in cold weather. There is a possibility, Glenn, of a 4-win, 13-loss Miami Dolphins. But will 4 wins get you the number 1 pick? Probably not. Probably not. Another thing to consider. It can get a whole lot worse. It could get a whole lot worse. I mean, let's not sit here and act like everybody on our team is just, healthy magnets. And let me tell you another thing. Lose to the Rams this week. Half our team going to be making business decisions. Javon Holland will be stupid to come out there on that field. Half this team going to start making business decisions. You think it's wise to be running Waddle and Tyreek out there if it's mathematically impossible for you to win? You think that's wise? Let one of them have one of them season-ending injuries late, and then they not even going to start the season. They'll be back week 6 or 9. Like, we going to start that whole thing again? You think it's wise for certain players to even be on that field if we get ourselves to 7 or 8 losses? Some of these guys going to be making business decisions. And I ain't stupid. I already know what time it is. By week 12 or 13, if we're out, you're going to have guys like, oh, Tyreek dealing with a foot injury. Well, we're just monitoring. Next year, IR. We should get him back at the end, and that's just 4 weeks ago, not asking any questions. And then when you should get him back, he's having a setback. Like, come on. You know how crazy it is in the NFL if you're mathematically eliminated to really be having your superstars out there running routes and doing all this and that? It ain't like Tyreek and Waddle need to catch up on stats. It's over for the season. Statistics wise, you ain't proving nothing this year. You ain't like, come on, what you just want to get to 1,000? Maybe. And if they do want to get to 1,000, they're gonna try to get there quick and then be like, all right, shut it down. We just got to at least show another 1,000. So I ain't ruling nothing out. This team can't, man. The one thing they can't afford to do is have superstars out here playing meaningless games, getting injuries. I know the narrative, these guys are competing, they want to win. Yeah, but you're going to start to see it on the field, business decisions. Ogba, who trying to get a contract next year on another team or the Dolphins, business decisions. Brooks, Poyer, all of them. If they don't retire, they want to at least, come on. I ain't trying to get hurt. If I get hurt this year, my career's over. Some of these guys are so much older. If I get hurt, my career over. Fuller, if he get hurt, I'm still a solid corner, but now I'm banged up, multiple injuries. Man, I'm going to be signing me a $2 million contract somewhere when I want $5 million. I wouldn't be surprised if you don't see Tyler Huntley again at some point this year. Let's call it what it is. Time will tell, man. But that's who we are as an organization. We got to figure it out. But hey, one win at a time. Let's start with the Rams. Let's go get this win. And if we don't, decisions. And all I'm hearing is it's a talented group. We believe we'll figure it out. But what if you don't? Is there a plan in place to hold somebody accountable? And who? Or is it just move along? We got to figure it out. We got all this talent. And if it don't work next year, we believe in him so much that let's try it again. Like, yeah, because you have to, because you done extended everybody. You screwed up. The Miami Dolphins screwed up, ladies and gentlemen. Now you need to go out there and start this one game at a time approach. And if you can beat the Rams, the sad part is it's going to get a team false hope because you're going to beat the Raiders and the Patriots. 3 wins in a row. We on that run. We shall see. You got to beat the Rams. You have to beat the Rams. You have to. No ifs, ands, or buts. You have to. You lose this game on Monday night in front of the world. 2-7. You're not going undefeated the rest of the year. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Again, this stream was powered by BetUS. Take advantage of that 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000 using code YouTube150. All right. If you can gamble responsible, make sure you check it out. Supporting our sponsors is supporting the channel. If you can't gamble responsible, there are resources that can help you if you have an addiction or anything along those lines. All right. Thank y'all for tuning in. I got to get ready for the huddle. It starts at 3 p.m. on BetUS TV. Y'all come check us out on that. It's going to be a pretty good show as well. Going to be previewing a lot of these games for this weekend, all right? Giving you our predictions for each and every one of them. Y'all come through to the huddle. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in to TD Fans Talk, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. God bless you all. I'll see you all soon. Peace. I am out. Love y'all.